Hello, gorgeous ones, and greetings from Australia. Today in my session, we're going to be at the home of two sisters, Martha and Mary of Bethany. In Luke 10, verses 38 to 42, we read the story of two sisters who hosted Jesus and his disciples and probably about 70 to 100 guests, depending on what you read, but a fair few people. And they're all coming together to have a meal with Jesus. And the two sisters, Martha and Mary, they were very, very united by their faith in Jesus, but very divided in the best ways to worship him. Because Mary was an extremely hard worker, and she wanted to welcome Jesus into the dinner, and she wanted the house to look right, and she wanted, all the meal put together and all the work done. Whereas Mary, she just wanted to sit at the foot of Jesus and listen to everything he had to say. So they were just poles apart in what they thought they had to do. So first of all, I want to read you the verse of Luke 10. So give me a minute, I'll just grab my Bible and I'll read that to you. And it says here, at the home of Martha and Mary, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to what he had to say. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and she asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." Okay, so both sisters, they both serve. But Mary really understands the priority of choosing to abide in Christ. To understand more about our characters, John's Gospel tells us that Jesus loved Martha and Mary and the brother Lazarus. You can read about that, John 11, verse 5. So some say that besides Jesus's mother, that Mary and Martha just may have been the most important people in his life, besides his mother Mary. And together together they witnessed Jesus's greatest miracle, and that was when the raising of their brother Lazarus a few days after he died. And it's recorded that Jesus wept when he heard that Lazarus had died. And this is probably one of the only times in the Bible, I'm not sure if it's the only, but the only one I found so far, where it's recorded that Jesus was weeping. So we know just how important this family is to Jesus. And, today I'm really honored to bring you the story of Mary of Bethany. I have one session here where we're going to create an opt-in window in our Bible. It's a beautiful two-sided page and has a little window cut out, but more about that in a minute. And there's another two sessions that I wanted to teach you about Mary of Bethany. I couldn't get it all in one. So today we'll be at the home of Mary and Bethany. And I would strongly encourage you, go grab the Premiere Pack, because I've got two more sessions coming, and I know the other speakers have a whole heap of great extra sessions coming to you as well on that. But I will be going today to talk to you about abiding in Jesus and sitting at his feet, just like Mary of Bethany. And in the Premiere Pack, I'm going to take you on and do two more creative adventures. And we will look at Mary of Bethany still, but we'll look at her in a crisis, and we'll also look at her in celebration. And we'll create some faith cards and a Bible journal page as well. And so that's enough from me. Let's just get started. Grab out your supplies, and let's get started. All right, I'm going to quickly show you my supplies. I've got a Yoo-Hoo blue glue stick, and I've got some washi tape here. I like the blue glue stick so I know where I've been gluing. And then I've got my watercolor pencils. You can use whatever you like, regular pencils, felt pens. These are just the ones that I'll be using today, or I've got so many. It should be one of the ones I'm using today, who knows. I've got the printouts. I've already cut out the two sides of the printout, and I have some baking paper. Now, I don't know what you call it in the country you're watching from, but you get at the supermarket, you just put it on the cookie tray so the cookies don't stick to the tray. It's not waxed, so it's easy to use to trace or to draw on. And then I've got my Bible, which is one that I normally keep for notes. And I have a whole heap of Post-it notes in it, and I have all my pens and everything. But I've decided today I'm going to start journaling in this one because my other one is quite full. So I thought today's the day. Let's do this. Let's start our first drawing in, colour in this Bible with you all, my friends. Okay, so we want to cross go to Luke 10, and we need to find the Bible verse. Let me just take that bookmark out. We'll get rid of that out of the way and any Post-it notes we don't need. So we're going to make a little opt-in window so that we can see where this verse is. And so we'll be cutting out an area of our printout. So if we have a look here, I moved that across and I'm not on the right page anyway. Hang on, let me just take my little marker out. Let's flip one more page because I'm just going to use the last little section. Okay, so here we have it. And we'll be doing Luke 10:42, verse 42. That's just a little area. I might go from 38, I don't know. Work out what section that you want to cut out as your little window. You can do as much as you like. I'm just going to do the few lines here where Jesus spoke to Martha. Okay. So I'm sort of working out, okay, that's about where my page goes. Then I'm going to put the tracing paper, I'll call it tracing paper, exactly where, because I've cut this to the size of my printout, okay? So I'm placing it in the exact position where my printout will go. So I'm just moving that around until I get it right. Get my ruler. And then what I'm going to do is just rule out the area, then I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to go across and trace it onto my printout, and then I'm going to cut it out of the printout as well. While we get all the cutouts ready, I'm going to chat to you a little bit about Mary. And if we look, every time that we read about Mary in the Gospel, she's always at the feet of Jesus. And if we look at Luke 10, verse 39, it says that she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. And, in the story, while Martha was working, prepping the house and getting lunch ready for Jesus, and probably about 70 friends and guests as well, not just Jesus, not just the disciples, but quite a few people. The whole time Martha's working away, Mary sat at Jesus's feet, and she was just hooked on every single word that Jesus said. It didn't matter. No amount of chores that needed doing that day could take her away from listening to the wisdom of Jesus. And at the same time, as time goes on, Martha's sort of getting really stressed out. She's had enough. She's, and she actually demands that Jesus tell Mary to help her. And I'm not sure, given that she asked this of Jesus, what she expected the answer to be. And I don't think she expected it to be what Jesus actually said. I think she thought Jesus would, tell Mary, go help your sister. But Jesus actually commended Mary for sitting at his feet. In verse 42, he said, "But few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and that will never be taken away from her." And that's the bit that I have decided to use as my opt-out, my cut-out window. I've decided that that's the bit that I always want to see. I never want that to be hidden. So I've cut that out. See here? I've got the area where that is going to be in the Bible. So what I'm doing is I'm placing that tracing paper in the exact position right on top of my printout. And I'm just going to give that a little bit of a trace, because I'm also going to cut it out of cut it out of the printable as well. And so that way it's just never going to be hidden. That particular verse in my Bible is always going to shine out. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Okay, so let's get that. All right, so you can see I did it in pen so that you can see it. And this is the area that I'm going to cut out as well. All right, now you have to, I've already done one. I've got like a pile of things already pre-prepared at the side of my desk. So you can see that it just nicely matches up on both sides here. And that way I can just glue the pages together, and I can get a little bit of washi tape, and I'll fix the edge up so it's nice. Now mine, I left the lid off so it's a little bit faded, but you can see that a Yoo-hoo blue glue stick. See, I normally use matte medium, okay, just so you know. I thought I'd show you that. But we need to do things a little bit faster in conference, so I'll show you with the glue stick. And I usually like using the blue one so I can see exactly where I've already put the glue. It doesn't mean anything more than that. It doesn't make it any more fancy. Just when I've done a lot of gluing, I'm like, have I done that area? Have I done that area? And normally if you don't leave the lid off your blue glue stick, the glue will come out quite blue. I hope you're not like me. I just got glue everywhere. Normally you can see how many marks are on my table. This is just from creating so many different pages. I just love, go away paper. I just love to create, and I just resigned to the fact that my desk is a wee bit messy. Okay. And normally I have glue overlapping onto everything, but I'm trying to keep it clean. All right, so match that up. And then we're just going to get that all stuck together. Press it all together. I like to go and do a lot of glue around the window area so that the two pieces stay together, but I will be using washi tape as well to make sure that stays together. All right, give it a little bit of a rub. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to get a lot of the little jobs done creatively, and then we'll go on and we'll chat more about Mary. I haven't forgotten about her, but I want to choose the washi tape. Now I could choose one with dots on it because that's like the spikenard flowers that are in the photo. Pink doesn't really go with that. I'm liking this one on the left, or the dots from the spikenard. The spikenard is the oil that Mary used on Jesus's feet. So I've put that into the cutout as the flower used. Now all I'm doing is I got my guillotine out, and it's because I'm the worst hand cutter in the world. I'll own that. And so I'm slightly out a few mil in bit of my cutting, and so I just get the guillotine and I will fix up all the edges. And at the same time, just remember when you're using your guillotine and it's got to go through, just let your glue be dry. And even when you're using scissors, just let the glue, give it a couple of minutes, chance for it to dry, and then that way it won't ruin your blades. Your blades will stay nice and beautiful and sharp and won't get some sticky residue on it, and you're left wondering why. Okay, so I'm literally trimming off just a few mil, but that could possibly annoy me later on. So I thought I'm going to get that done before we keep chatting away and get too involved. And so the biggest thing I like to do when I am working in my Bible or doing journal art, is I like to spend my time that I'm colouring in really concentrating on word and deciding, what that means to me and how does it impact me. I might put on a podcast as well, something to do with what I'm studying in the Bible that day. And that's why I just wanted to show you my cutouts before we sort of move on a little bit more about Mary and the words. So what we're doing is we're using washi tape, and I'm using half the width on the front and half the width on the back, and I'm just cutting everything to shape. And so here I'm cutting it just so it goes onto that little side bit here. I'm going to push it over, and then I've got half on the front, half on the back. And so we're only going as wide as the cut. You can see that we're starting at the top of the cut, and we will go across to the bottom of the cut, fold it back a little bit, then I'll cut that, and then fold that over. I find when I'm creating, when I have to get all the jobs, all the bits done, is I'm not concentrating as much, but I really love once I've worked out what I'm creating and how it's going to be done, then I bring through a lot of prayer time and moving along. Once I start coloring, painting, whatever medium you enjoy. So this time I'm taking the washi tape right to the edge of the previous washi tape. Sorry, you can see my head a little bit. Try and poke out. And then I'm cutting it to the inside line. Cut there. And then I'm folding that section across. Okay. And we're just getting a washi tape right around the window here. It just gives it a little bit of strength, because sometimes when we do a cutout it can be quite weak and almost get a little bit buckled. And so with the weight of the washi tape on both sides, that will give it a little bit of weight to the front and the back. Sometimes if we just put the tape on one side, the back gets a bit buckled. And usually any buckled paper, even when your pages warp, it just means it's top heavy. It's too wet on the top, usually the side you're working on, versus the other side isn't as much. So I like to do both. Give that a little cut, and that side a cut there, and move that up. Okay, so on that side we've got washi tape going from corner to corner, but on this side we've got two little corners missing. Now this is going to depend on you whether that will drive you insane or not. See how all the corners match up on that side? And when you flip it over, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't like that. So what I do is I just put some little bits down the end here. See, I go from the edge of the washi tape to the edge of the washi tape. I fill in those corners, and I just go back the other way and do two little cuts and a fold in the opposite direction. That way I've got the washi tape all around the window. That makes my heart happy, and then I'm ready to start colouring in. Okay, how do you pick your colours? That's the other thing, is I like to get a little bit of washi tape and I'll just put it on this random piece of paper, and I have got tins and tins of pencils, and I was lucky enough just to be gifted 2 new boxes, so I'm dying to try all the colours that are in the boxes. Look, there's just too many to choose. So what I'm going to do is I'll put down that little bit of tester of washi tape, and then I pull out colours that I think would work with it, and I go, yep, you know what, that one works. That one looks nice with the washi tape. There's a bit of orange in the washi tape. Okay, yes, that one works. And I keep working my way around the washi tape to choose my colours, and I'll add more to it as well. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to keep chatting about Mary for a while. As you just watch me, I'm going to keep choosing the colours, and then I'm going to move on and start colouring in the printable, you'll see that one side is a colour in printable, and so I'm just going to work through it and start colouring that in as well while we talk about Mary of Bethany. I've read so many articles with people assuming that the story of Mary of Bethany invites us to either be Martha or Mary. Choose which sister you're going to be. That we're either going to sit at Jesus' feet or we're going to serve. But, should we do either one of those with frustration and the distraction that Martha shows? Martha doubts Jesus and says, "Do you not care?" She makes demands of Jesus. She says, "Tell her to help me." Martha wants to be in control. The sister Martha, she just thinks that she has no choice because she has all the guests. She has lunch for Jesus, all the disciples, all their friends. She feels that she has to serve. Even in this height of anxiety, she feels she has no choice but to keep serving with that feeling of frustration. But Jesus reminds her that she does have a choice, that just like Mary, she could sit at his feet. So that's one to have a little think about. Hang on, let me just put some of these colours away. I've chosen all the colours that I'm going to use, possible. You never know. I do like to add about another 50 after that. And so I'll just sort of show you the choices I made. These are just ones I chose from looking at the washi tape. Because I do have watercolour pencils, I'm going to get a little bit of water. I'm going to grab a paintbrush to activate them, and I'll show you how to do that. All right. I just had to find that cloth as well. You don't want it too wet, especially when you're working in your Bible, so I always have a bit of a cloth. But can you see as you activate watercolor pencils, they just look a lot less like colouring in, the back and forth strokes, and you get that very beautiful watercolor paint look. See how now it just flows? Rather, if we're colouring in with regular pencils, which I do all the time, but if we do, sometimes we see strokes in the pencils, and it does depend on the brand, the type, everything like that. It's why I do love to use my watercolor pencils. So that is how we activate the pencil. Now to move on to our colouring. Let's turn these around so we can see the colours. And this is usually a time that I've already decided what podcast I'm going to listen to, or what I'm going to do, because I get lost when I colour in. I just love to colour in for ages. I don't have a lot of time to colour in with you today. I could be here forever, trust me. So I do have a pre-prepared one, but I just wanted to talk to you while I colour in, because that's the most time I love to have a reflection. So if we think back to what I just said, Martha's in this big state of like, oh, I'm so stressed out. I have so many jobs to do. Jesus has reminded her that she can also sit at his feet. She doesn't have to be stressed out. She can make the same choice, that Mary made, to sit at his feet. And what we see is that Mary is sitting at the feet of her rabbi, her teacher. And this is also the way of a disciple. What we see in this situation, in Jesus's affirmation of Mary's posture, is it sort of indirectly shows us that she is a disciple of his, and that Jesus welcomes women to learn at his feet. He welcomes Mary's choice to abide by him. He welcomes our choice to abide by him at all times. In John 15, Jesus instructs the disciples how to live without his physical presence, because it's not long before he is to pass. And he teaches them to abide by him and allowing his words to abide in them. And that's something really important. And this again affirms Mary's choice to abide with him. And so there's constant reminders all the time of the importance of that. And it's to God's glory that we bear much fruit. And Mary models that fruit. she shows us that that fruit will not be born unless you remain in Jesus. We kneel before him in prayer, we sit at his feet in worship, and in these actions we follow Mary's example. And this is the only way we are going to bear fruit. It's only at his feet that we gain true clarity, wisdom, courage, all these things. It's done by sitting at Jesus' feet, abiding in him so he can abide in us. And so many of us get distracted with chores, serving at church, serving at work, serving in our home. We serve with the attitude of busyness in most times. We just have to get it done. We just think of the chores as like, got to get it all done so I can get this and do this, and I've got to get home, and, I've got to get these things done at church. And, the whole world, it supports that attitude. If we look at it, it's screaming at us, do more, be all that you can be. But we have to quieten down. We have to be so quiet that we can hear our Lord whispering to us, be still and know that I am God. We want to worship like Mary, but our inner Martha is very demanding of us. We all know that. And Jesus has compassion for Martha. He understood her story. He loved her too much to give her what she wanted, and that was for Mary to help her. He knew that's what she wanted of him, but that's not what he wanted of her. And instead of giving her what she needed, he invited her to draw closer to him. To leave all that worry behind, leave all the stress behind, don't worry about it, and find refuge in him. Okay. You've just got to be thinking about these things and choosing colours all at the same time. It's like sometimes I just start talking, and then I'm like, what am I doing? I don't know. How do you go with creating while you're sitting in Word? I love it. I absolutely love it. And I have like a notebook beside me as well, because as I'm creating, like new ideas come to me, or as I'm, working on one Bible verse, something else comes to me. And as I was thinking about that, I was like, oh yeah, John 15, like when Jesus was talking to his disciples. Normally I have my pen and paper. I can't do that while I'm on camera, off to the side, and I just quickly, I'll jot down whatever that verse that comes to me. I jot that down to look at later on. And you'll either see in the beginning when you were looking at my Bible, I had a lot of coloured Post-it notes in it. And that's my color coding. I kind of like, this is one I need to look at. This is one I've already done. This is one I want to take across to my art journal, things like that. So I do work on deciding what's next. I'm just going to activate some of these colors. It would probably take me well on an hour, I think, to color all of this in. So I'm just going to do this little bit. That's why I wanted to activate a bit more of the color for you, and then I'm going to go, wow, magic, and pull in one I prepared earlier. It's the only way we can get through this page. So I'm sorry that we can't all get it all colored in, within the class. But I would love to just show you all the steps that I take to finish creating it and making this page sit in my Bible. And I thought it would be a nice one too, that you could just take away when you've got 5 minutes. There's so many beautiful women sharing this weekend. And this is a great one that you could just colour in later on. I'm always colouring in. I take my pencils with me wherever I go. My husband's got a lot of hospital appointments at the moment, and I'm that person that sits up in the waiting room with my colouring in, and I do lots of colouring in while I'm waiting for him to attend his appointments. All right, so here we have it. I have my Bible, I have my page all coloured in, and you can see here, all the colours on this side. I've used 2 different pens, and I will show them to you because they're gorgeous. One is a chrome pen, and that gives that really shiny. It's not just metallic, it's chrome. And I'll put a link somewhere for you. And then I've just got a Posca paint pen, which I've gone around the black. I hope you can see it. I've just used it to go around. But have a look at that sparkle of the chrome. That's my favorite thing. I love it. The gold's really beautiful as well. The other side here, you might want to colour in your crown with some of the chrome pen or some pens. I've got the gold, see. The gold's pretty cool, but I've run out. Okay, so let's get into how we're going to fit this into our Bible. I've got the passage here. Have a look at that beautiful window that we've created so we can line it up and we get that passage that's shining right through there, through the little window. All right, we've got to hold that in place, and I'll just push my Bible that way a little bit. Okay, we're going to push that in place. We're going to get the washi tape, and then we're going to stick it half the washi tape onto the page, and the other half will go into our Bible. So let's put the Bible away for now. I swore if I pulled my sleeves up, nobody would see them, that I'm creating in my pajamas. I got caught. Okay, put down your washi tape. I was like, you won't see them, but you really do. Okay, washi tape, measure it in. You want to be about half, as in half on the front, and then allow half. Push that down, lift it up, flip it over, and then you just want to trim those edges off. And trim this side as well. You know what? It wasn't half. We all saw that it wasn't half. I was going to say, just do it anyway. But you're sitting here listening to me saying, put it half on the front, half on the back, and I didn't do it myself. So I've taken it off. Know the more that you unstick washi tape, it will get weaker and weaker. If you want it to be permanent, glue it down with matte medium. Put some matte medium on the tape. Okay, let's grab the Bible back out. Right, push it flat. Now we just have to refine that window. And there it is. So we're going to hold the page still. And then we're just going to get our nail. And we're pushing it onto the page. We don't want it on the right-hand side page. We're just pushing it right down onto the page on the left. Oh, it is stuck a little bit there. I'll fix it up later, don't worry. All right, we're pushing that all down. Now, I love doing it with washi tape because you can take it out. If you decide later on you don't want the page there anymore, washi tape is so easy to take out. If you want to make it more permanent, I find once the two sides are on, it's fine. It's very permanent. But if you want it even more, you can use matte medium on the tape, or and that will keep it forever in place. So we just want to line that page up here. Make sure it's sticking down. And then we're going to put the washi tape on the other side. Hold that in place. All right, let's grab some washi tape. All right, I like to do this. I haven't covered up any of the words. I'm just going to use the washi tape just off to the right of the words. So I haven't lost any of that. I've added my Bible art, my faith art into it. And then I still have all my words ready to read. And if you know me well, you'll know that I'm going to scribble all over these pages with beautiful creative ideas anyway. This is just an added extra. So I thought for those of you that have a really full Bible, full of all your drawings and paintings and beautiful words, and you've highlighted, you've got your notes in your column, this is a really beautiful way of adding in that extra art. And it's what I call an opt-in page. Now I'm just going to, let me take that off. I'm going to go over a couple of pages just so I can add more pressure without the actual page moving. So I've just put down 4 or 5 pages, and I'm just adding that pressure down so it all sticks. And then voila, we're done. How beautiful is this? So we've got the printout, we've got the window cut out, we can see the passage, we've got our gorgeous artwork on the other side, and we've got a 2-sided opt-in page. Absolutely beautiful. Wow, thank you for attending my creative session. And it's my first conference, and I've just been so excited that you've taken the time to come and create along with me and listen to about Mary of Bethany. I just want to wrap up with a few things before we finish. And I just want you to always remember that Jesus invites us to learn his way. And as disciples, we're called to sit at his feet, and we're also called to serve. It's not one of the other, but it's both. The thing is, when we serve, we have to serve. We serve God for his glory. That's something really important to remember. And we bring worship and glory to God when we serve others, because he's given us skills and gifts, and there's passion, so many things he's gifted in us, and that is to serve, and always in his glory. So be Martha, be motivated to go out and serve, and have that desire to do that, and to reveal God's greatness to everybody. But never let it feel like a chore. But the most important thing is, never forget and be Mary of Bethany, and always just lay your crown at the feet of Jesus. So thank you. God bless you, and have a great conference. It's really excited. I can't wait to create with all the other teachers.